Greetings, YouTube. I just completed, literally seconds ago, the new challenge with Chadwick and Tom, aka Black Panther and Stark Spidey. And I tried to do this kind of blind. I mean, I looked at the nodes when I went in, but I didn't watch other YouTubers' guides, and I definitely appreciate that people make those. But I just thought it would be more fun to see how hard it was kind of just going in. And you can see the rewards are coming out nicely. I always enjoy that tier 4 basic and that tier 4 class catalyst. I love these 6 stones. And of course the 5-star shards and the 4-star awakening gem. We'll get to those in a moment, but I want to start off by saying that this challenge was kind of BS. And it was BS because it was a lot harder than any other challenge we've seen, but I don't know why. I just gave Kabam too much credit, and I expected them to give us much better rewards than these. Just to put these into perspective, given how hard this content was, just think of with Modoc's Lab on Expert, this is not even 4 days worth of Modoc's Lab 5-star shards, just for doing that content that we had last month. 850 4-star shards is a joke. The units is kind of nice. And the tier 4 basic catalyst, I guess that's not that big of a deal since we have a full one. But this was way more challenging than the ones we've seen before because this was without the life transfer node, which, as a reminder, is the node that you drain health over time, but then whatever damage you cause, you gain back in health. And had life transfer been initiated in this round with the new node that you basically can't cause any damage because it's like Luke Cage's indestructible until you have a 15-hit combo, I think that would have been fair. But because they took life transfer out and added that new node in, it was just some BS. And I am not going to be like the average YouTuber that says, I fought every fight perfectly, I didn't use any items, I'm amazing and perfect and way better than you. I didn't use a ton of items, but I used enough, and it's weird for me to say, let's just replay this and talk a little bit about this. It's weird for me to say, like, this is what you should do, because I realize that I've been playing the game long enough to where I have really good champions. So it sort of feels like a cheat code to be like, hey, all you have to do to beat this content is use Blade and Stark Spidey and Iceman and Ghost Rider. No big deal, because you're probably sitting there like, dude, I don't have all those people. This isn't going to help me. So I did want to talk about the advantages real quick to each fight. Stark Spidey, I think, is the easiest overall because you basically just have to bait that special one. Of course, you don't want to use projectile specials unless you parry him, and he is stunnable because he will just evade and build up those poise charges in the process. Iron Man was a little tricky because of the arc overload every 20 seconds, and I thought that the first 2 lines would be the toughest because of that prove yourself node, but personally, I actually struggled a bit more with the later fights that didn't have prove yourself, but again had this counter tactics because I'm somebody that doesn't like to get hit. So I pride myself on having Labyrinth of Legends like 100+ hit combos. And the problem is, if you have a 100+ hit combo against someone like an Iron Man and then you block, you're still going to lose a ton of damage because he's gained so much base attack after 100 hits. So it's kind of counterintuitive to be like, oh, I guess I should let myself get hit to actually not cause that. So I found those nodes to be a lot more frustrating personally. Gamora, maybe it's just me, but her special A2 was really quick. And the first couple of times, I actually died because I thought I had a safe enough distance to evade it. And then that, I think it was the second of the 2 forward slashes with her sword caught me. So I guess Kabam maybe has made that animation faster. I don't play with Gamora, so this might have happened months ago and I just didn't know it. And I'm sure somebody, because you guys are awesome, are going to comment below and let me know when that was. Star-Lord is not a hard fight if you go against your gut and don't use specials. Now that's why Iceman is so good against Stark, or not, excuse me, not Stark Spidey, against Star-Lord, because if you slip up and as long as you've got that ice armor in place, you're going to only lose 5% health, whereas if you block and you've got that 100 hits up, you actually are going to take more damage off a block than you would letting the special 3 go with ice armor. Now, I fight a lot of Groots in Alliance Quest Map 5. I take Path 1 in Tier 1, and so I have grown accustomed to just using Dr. Voodoo because Dr. Voodoo converts all of the many buffs of I Am Groot into poisons, and so that's very, very effective. Now, the question is, what would I have used had I not had access to all of these God tier champions? Well, there are a couple of champions that are always useful to me. Ronin with that infinite stun is nice. Hawkeye is probably the most underrated champion in the game, especially given his special one has both power drain and bleed, so Hawkeye would be good as well. With Gamora, you want to make sure you bring bleed immune champs just so if you do get caught, you don't instantly die. Iron Man, classic Daredevil would be good just to not have to worry about dodging the projectiles. And really, classic Daredevil is an MVP, another very underrated champion. I'm so thankful they finally released him as a 6-star since he's not as a 5-star, because the final Thanos boss is buff immune. And I'm just going to remind myself of where he is. There we go. Way out on lonely Thanos Island. Yeah, you can see he's a 6-star final boss and has the ability to not have... Now, his special one's really easy to dodge. You just dodge it twice, and but his power gain can be tricky. So, again, you want to build up your combos. That's why people like Stark Spidey are so great, because you can build up those poise charges without actually using specials and then get a very high base attack. So, I hope that kind of helped. I'm trying not to prolong this video too much. And so now it is time for us to just quickly go to the rewards. And I'm guessing you really don't care about a Tier 4 class catalyst. Basically, the only item worth spinning out in my book is the 4-star Awakening Gem Crystal. So let's pop that bad boy down and spin it. I already have Attack, Mystics, and Science. So really, Skill and Mutant and Cosmic would be nice because I don't have any of those in the 4-star variety. And so what are we going to land on? And it's always Science, right? It's always Science. When I spin it out, it's always Science. Well, there you go. I got Science. Whoop-de-freaking-do. This is a troubling pattern, this quest, because Kabam once again made the content harder but didn't give us any more rewards, and a lot of people are burnt out right now. A lot of people after the Alliance War season, and then of course gold issues, and this just general fatigue in the arena, they're looking to be compensated, and I'm really worried because I do love this game very, very much, that if this trend continues, more players are going to leave the game because the rewards do not justify the stress, and once you're stressed about a mobile video game, like, if it's not fun, what are you doing, right? So, come on, Kabam. Hopefully you're hearing the cries from the community. You're going to up the rewards. You're going to make it fun but not BS, kind of like you did by decreasing the Sentinel difficulty just to realize that you're not just in it for a cash grab. But besides that, who did you use for this this new quest? I'm always curious to hear, especially the newer players that don't have a vast roster. It's always fun to be like, oh man, I destroyed content with Crossbones. Somebody once commented, I destroyed content with Loki or in Gambit. I'm like, hell yeah, you go, man, or gal. Like, that's fantastic. Don't just use God tier champs. You know, use the people you love and kick ass with them. That's what makes this game fun, taking a champ that you really enjoy and destroying content. So good luck to everybody in this new quest, and I hope those tips helped, and I also hope you didn't get your second Science Awakening gem. You got something much, much better.